Hi everyone, I'm attorney Karl D. Shehu, the founder and managing member of Shehu Legal here in Connecticut. Today, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about disinheritance. What do you do when you have a spouse or a child that, for whatever reason, you do not want to include in your estate? You do not want them to take any part of your assets or money, and perhaps most importantly, you do not want them to make any decisions regarding the disposition, the use of that property. So we're going to do a few things today. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why you might want to disinherit a spouse or a child. And we'll take a look at Marie Osmond and some of the celebrities that have chosen to go this route, and we'll explore whether or not their reasoning is valid. And then we'll take a look at whether it's even possible to accomplish those goals, to disinherit your child or your spouse. Let's dive in. Celebrities like Marie Osmond and Daniel Craig and Ashton Kutcher have been in the news for stating publicly that they are going to disinherit their children. Is this a good idea? Now, before we decide if it's a good idea for these celebrities to disinherit their children, let's look at the reasons that they cite for doing so. First, they want to eliminate privilege in their children. They recognize that their children live fairly comfortable lives, and they don't want them to essentially coast through life. They want their children to understand the value of hard work. Well, it begins at home. So by the time you pass away, you should have taught your children how to make a portfolio grow, how to invest money, how to spend wisely. If you have carried out your responsibilities as a parent, your children should be able to act as stewards of their inheritance, not only for their generation, but for their children's generation as well. That's a wonderful gift to give your children. Now, I understand that there are some children who are young, who may not be able to handle a windfall of money. They may be teenagers, they may be very young kids. Well, through a carefully crafted and drafted trust, you can place provisions in there to ensure that the inheritance isn't just wasted as soon as it falls into the laps of your children. The celebrities also may want to just enjoy themselves. Why be the richest person in the graveyard when you can spend your money, go on trips, and live life to the fullest? I understand that, and a person should be able to make decisions about how he or she wants to use his money, especially money that he or she has earned, and they should be able to use it for any purpose. Finally, celebrities often cite the need to provide for charities and people who are less fortunate. Well, again, the law provides remedies. There are charitable remainder trusts. You should be able to do both. And in fact, in some instances, disinheriting your children can have disadvantageous tax ramifications for not only the heirs, but for the charities as well. Moreover, think about the message that is sent by parents to their children when they say, we are going to disinherit you, and instead we're going to give what should or what you thought would have been yours to a charity. Now, let me ask the question, does that sound charitable? At the end of the day, the values that these celebrities would like to instill in their children by disinheriting them can be accomplished in numerous different ways that doesn't require such a drastic and ignorant move like simply disinheriting children. And the celebrities who have not gone this route are either ignorant or lazy. Generally, it's a bad idea to disinherit your children. Okay, so we've covered the reasons why you might want to disinherit your child. What are the reasons why you might not want to do this? Number one, it's a lot more difficult than you think. The law in most states does not like disinheriting family members. And in some states, there are statutory shares that a spouse, and in some cases, omitted children, can claim. And it doesn't matter what your will says. The child or the spouse can take a statutory share, and you have nothing to say about it. Number two, It creates conflict. This is particularly true when a person does not have a carefully crafted trust to manage their assets. Unless you have that well-drafted trust, the heirs, those who have been omitted from the will, can contest it in the probate court. And they can run up against the estate the costs of that contest, meaning that your assets will be used to pay for them to fight that you have drafted. So in some cases, the heirs can keep the contest going for years. No one gets anything because the assets are tied up in court, and the only people making money throughout the process are the lawyers. Number 3, the goals of disinheritance can be accomplished in other ways. Number 4, disinheritance can have negative tax consequences. For example, disinheriting a spouse can take away the carryover basis. So you may be cutting your nose off to spite your face by disinheriting someone, and in fact, the assets that remain end up getting taken by the government through taxation anyway. Number 5, it's not allowed. If you live in Louisiana or the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, you can't disinherit your children. They are what's known as forced heir jurisdictions. Okay, let's talk about your spouse. You want to disinherit him or her? Now, to do this, we have to examine a very important concept in some states, and that's known as the spousal election. In many states, like Connecticut, one spouse could not disinherit another spouse. If a husband's will provides that his wife shall receive nothing, she, during the course of the probate proceedings, may assert her elective spousal share. This entitles her to 1/3 of her husband's estate, real and personal property. It will be given to her as a life estate, meaning that upon her death, it will revert back to her husband and descend in accordance with the terms of his will. In not so many words, this is really a lease of 1/3 of the husband's property to his wife for the rest of her life. Well, I hope you learned something and you're empowered to make a decision regarding disinheritance. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm attorney Karl D. Shehu. Memento mori. God bless. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe.